Let us see some networking interview questions and answers. What is a network? Network is a set of devices connected by communication links. So a node can be a computer or any other device which is capable of sending or receiving data which is generated by other nodes in this network. So generally, you can also speak that they are set of interconnected devices with some communication links. What is a protocol? It is a set of rules that governs data communication, or in other terms, protocol are the set of rules that guides that work. Any work can be there, and in our networking, it is data communication. What is multiplexing? Multiplexing is the process of dividing a link, the physical medium, into logical channels for better efficiency, right? The physical medium dividing into, in the way such that you have a better efficiency. So here medium is not chain, but it has several channels instead of one. That is why we have this multi word here. Define bandwidth. Bandwidth is very, very simple. Let me tell you first that if this is the upper limit, this is the lower limit, the difference of these two is the bandwidth. But in terms of communication, the range of frequencies that a medium can pass or allow is called a bandwidth. So it is actually the difference between this highest and lowest frequency that the medium can satisfactorily pass. What do we mean by switching? This is a method in which communication devices are connected to one another efficiently. This is switching. A switch is a hardware, intermediary hardwares, or also it has software also that links devices together temporarily. What are the important topologies for networks? We have bus, star, and ring and mesh. This is widely used. What are the duties of data link layer? Data link layer, as it suggests, data linking of data. So data link layer is responsible for carrying packets from one hop, that is computer or router, to the next. The actual work is done by the physical layer, but responsibility of carrying these packets from one hop to another is the job of data link layer. So the duties of data link layer includes packetizing, addressing, error control, flow control, and medium access control. So this layer also has a MAC layer, this medium access control. That is why we have some MAC addresses thing also involved in transportation. What is virtual channel? Virtual channel is normally a connection from one source to the destination, although multicast connections are not permitted. Multicasting is not permitted, but this is a virtual connection between a source and destination. So the other name for virtual channel is the virtual socket. What is multicast routing? Sending a message to a group is called multicasting. This is you. There are a number of people. So you are sending them. This is multicast routing, and its routing algorithm is called actually the multicast routing. So multicasting, the algorithm is multicast routing. What is telnet? Telnet is a client-server application that allows a user to log on to a remote machine. From here, you can log into a different machine, giving the user access to the remote system. So telnet is an abbreviation for terminal network. This is terminal network. What do you mean by data communication? Data communication means exchanging of data. So it is the exchange of data between two devices via some form of transmission medium such as wire, cable, or wireless. The communication system must be a part of communication system made up of the combination of hardware and software involved. And the effectiveness of data communication system, it depends on three different things, which is delivery, accuracy, and timeliness. So data communication should involve on the background proper delivery, accurate delivery, and timeliness. What is distributed processing? As the name itself suggested, distributed means things are distributed, not in the location is not single. So what is distributed processing? It is a strategy in which services provided by the network reside at multiple sites. Services which are provided by the network resides at multiple sites. Now, what is point-to-point connection? One point, this point, first point, second point, point-to-point connection. It provides a dedicated link between two devices, 1 and 2. So the entire capacity of the link is reserved for transmission between two devices only. What is redundancy? Redundancy, the concept of including extra information in the transmission solely and matter of fact for the purpose of comparison. This technique is called redundancy. What is subnet? Subnet is the generic term for section of a large networks usually separated by a bridge or a router. So you have a whole bunch of devices in a single network. Now you want this part to be separated from this part to be separated from this. How you are going to do this? You are going to subnet. Okay, but for external entities, this will remain as a single network. But for your internal management, you have to do this subnetting. What is multi-point connection? The multi-point connection, in this multi-point connection, more than two specific devices share a single link. More than two specific devices share a single link. Here, the capacity of the channel is shared either separately or temporarily. And point-to-point it was not there; it was just single one. So, what is simplex? What is simplex? It is the mode of communication between two devices. There are two devices, and the simplex means in which data can flow only in one direction. Only in one direction. This is simplex. Half duplex means this is the mode of communication between two devices in which flow of data is bidirectional, but not at the same time. That means you can send data from A to B, and you can receive data from B to A, but not simultaneously. Each station can transmit and receive, but not at the same time. This is half duplex. What is full duplex? Full duplex means it is a mode of communication between two devices in which flow of data is bidirectional. That is, it is occurring simultaneously. Which you are sending also and receiving also at the same time. Here, signals going in either direction, they share the capacity of the link. This is the link, so half is for sending, half is for receiving, or in some, we can manage it. What is topology? Topology of a network is defined as the geometric representation of the relationship of all the links and linking devices to one another. How they are linked, how they are communicating. So a graphical representation, as you can understand, is a topology. But there are standards for topology also. What is bandwidth? This we have already seen, but let us define it again because this is very important. Every line has a upper limit and the lower limit on the frequency of signals it can carry. So the frequency signals that it is assumed to carry, it can carry from a lower limit to a higher limit, and this limited range is sometimes called as bandwidth. What is point-to-point protocols? We have already seen this, but let us again talk about it. The communication protocol used to connect computers to remote networking services, including internet service providers. So point-to-point. What is switching? Switching is a data communication. In data communication terms, is of three types: circuit switching, packet switching, and message switching. So these are the types. So this question should be actually what are the types of switching. Compare analog and digital signals. Analog signals can have infinite number of values in a range, but digital signals can just have limited number of values. We call them as levels, like 0 or 1. And if you have 4 levels, it will be 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, sorry. So this is the digital signal. But analog, you have whole bunch of signal. You can take infinite number from them. What is the difference between ARP and RARP? ARP is address resolution protocol. This is used to associate the 32-bit IP address with a 48-bit physical address, which is used by a host or a router to find actual physical address of another host on its network by sending this ARP query packet that includes the IP address of the receiver. But RARP, this is reverse address resolution protocol. It allows a host to discover its internet address when it knows only its physical address. Reverse ARP. What is ICMP? ICMP is Internet Controlled Message Protocol, ICMP. This is a network layer protocol of the TCP/IP suite used by host and gateways to send notification of datagram problems back to the sender. So if some problem is there, ICMP is always there for your rescue. What is logical link control or LLC? One of the two sublayers of the data link layer. One is MAC. This is logical link control, and in data link control we have this MAC and logical link control. So this layer has MAC, and LLC. Of OSI, Open System Interconnection Reference Model of ISO. This is defined by IEEE 802 standard, and this sublayer is responsible for maintaining the link, as the name suggests, logical link control between computers when they are sending data across physical network connection. What is the difference between a baseband and a broadband transmission? In baseband transmission, the entire bandwidth of the cable is consumed by a single signal. But in case of broadband transmission, signals are sent on multiple frequency, allowing multiple signals can be sent on a single channel. What is mesh network? A network in which there are multiple network links. A network in which there are multiple network links between computers to provide multiple paths for the data to travel. This is mesh network. Define bit rate and bit interval. Digital signals are periodic, right? So instead of using period and a frequency, we use bit interval and bit rate respectively. Bit interval is the time required to send one single bit, while bit rate is the number of bit, these one per second, number of bit intervals per second. What is sampling? Now sampling, this is a process of obtaining amplitude of a signal at a regular interval. So this is your signal, you take this amplitude at regular interval. This is sampling. Because if this is done in making us analog signal digital, because for that you have to sample and then quantize. Define pulse amplitude modulation, that is PAM. This is an analog to digital conversion method, which takes analog signals and samples it and generates a series of pulse based on the result of the sampling. So it is not used in data communication because the series of pulse generated, pulses which are generated still of any amplitude can be produced. So to modify it, we use this pulse code modification. What is Nyquist theorem? This is very important. Nyquist and Shannon, this is always asked. According to this theorem, the sampling rate must be at least 2 times the highest frequency of the original signal. Again, the sampling rate must be at least twice or 2 times the highest frequency, 2h of the original signal. What is asynchronous mode of data transmission? It is a serial mode of transmission. In serial transmission, we have asynchronous and synchronous mode. So in asynchronous mode of data transmission, in this mode of transmission, each byte is framed with a start bit and a stop bit. Each byte is framed with a start bit and a stop bit. So there may be a variable length gap between each byte. What are the different types of multiplexing? Multiplexing means you have already seen this question. And types are frequency division multiplexing and wave division multiplexing. This is for analog signals, and the time division multiplexing is for digital signals. What is MAU? In token ring, hub is called MAU, multi-station access unit. What do you mean by switching? Now we have seen what type of switchings are there. Now let us see what is switching. This is a method in which communication devices can connect, or they are connected to one another efficiently. One device is connected to another efficiently. A switch is intermediary hardware or software that links devices together temporarily. What do you mean by flow control? This is the regulation. It is the regulation of sender's data rate so that receiver buffer doesn't become overwhelmed. If you have a sender and you are a receiver, if you send too much, receiver will not be able to, if the receiver, it is capability of accessing or retrieving is not that much, then the sender will overwhelm receiver by sending this data. So flow control refers to the set of procedure that is used to restrict the amount of data that the sender can send before waiting for the acknowledgement. This is flow control. What do you mean by Bluetooth? This is 802.15 standard. It is a wireless LAN technology designed to connect devices of different functions such as telephone, notebooks, computers, cameras, printers, and so on. This is a wireless LAN technology. And Bluetooth LAN is an ad hoc network, that is the network which is formed spontaneously, and it is implemented in the 802.15 standard. What is virtual channel? Virtual channel is normally a connection from one source to one destination, although multicast connections are not permitted. That is why virtual channel is there. We have already seen this is also called as virtual circuit. Multicast routing, sending a message to a group is called multicasting. The routing is multicast routing. This is also we have seen. What is mail gateway? Now, it is a system that performs a protocol translation between different electronic mail delivery protocols. So, this is a translation protocol. What is IP address? The IP address is a 32-bit address that uniquely and universally define a host or router on the internet. So we have class A, class B, class C, D, E addresses. The portion of the IP address that identifies the network is called the net ID. The portion of the IP address that defines or identifies the host or router on the network is called the host ID. So our IP address is divided into two parts, that is the net ID and the host ID. And different classes of IP addressing is there to actually uniquely identify a host or router on the internet. What do we mean by subnetting? This is already we have seen. So subnetting divides one large network into smaller networks, smaller ones. So it adds an intermediate level of hierarchy in IP addressing. What are firewalls? In an electronic, it's firewall usually talked in terms of software, but in hardware terms, it is an electronic down bridge which is used to enhance the security of a network. So its configuration has two components, two routers, means one router, two routers, and an application gateway in between. What is repeaters? A receiver receives a signal before it becomes too weak or corrupted. Repeater does what? It regenerates the original bit pattern and puts the refreshed copy back into the link. So it operates on physical layer of OSI model. What are bridges? Bridges, they divide large network into smaller components. Large network into smaller components. So you have a big network, it divides into smaller component bridges. So they can relay frames between these two originally separated LANs. They provide security through partitioning traffic, and they operate on a physical also and data link layer of OSI model. So what is this? What is the gateway now? It is a protocol converter. It is a protocol converter because you have one network, second network, this speaks say English, this speaks Spanish, how to talk, you have a gateway in between. So a gateway can accept a packet formatted from one protocol and convert it to a packet formatted for another protocol. It operates in all 7 layers of OSI model. What do you mean by peer? Entities comprising the corresponding layers on different machines are called peer. Okay, like in this is one device, this one network, this is one network or machine. Now this application layer is there, so these are peers. What do you mean by broadcasting? Broadcasting system allow addressing a packet to all destination by using special code in address field. When a packet is transmitted, it is received and processed by every machine on the network. So broadcasting means say a teacher is delivering lecture in a class, so he is broadcasting. He is telling or is speaking to everyone. What is source route? It is a sequence of IP address identifying the route a datagram must follow. This is a source route. So a source route may optionally be included in an IP datagram header itself. What are major type of networks? You have server-based networks, peer-to-peer networks. What are the protocols in application layer? In the protocols, you can find there are a number of protocols. Let us speak out some of them. Telnet, FTP, SMTP, these are the few application layer protocols. What do you mean by point-to-point network? This we have already seen. What define retransmission? Retransmission is a technique in which a receiver detects the occurrence of some error, some problem, and asks the sender to please send the message again. Resending is repeated until a message arrives that the receiver believes this is now freed from any error. Now, what is TCP? TCP is connection-oriented protocol, transmission control protocol. So it consists by stream originating from one machine to be delivered without error on any other machine in the network. So while transmitting, it fragments the stream into discrete messages and passes into the internet layer, that is the IP layer, and at the destination it reassembles message into output stream. What is URL? URL, this is a universal resource locator. So it is a standard for specifying any kind of information on the World Wide Web. What is UDP? UDP and TCP, they are often asked together. UDP is unreliable connection-less protocol. TCP is connection-oriented protocol. UDP is connection-less protocol. This is reliable, this is unreliable. So UDP, it is used for one-shot client-server type, request-reply queries, and applications in which prompt delivery is required rather than this accuracy. Accuracy, if you want, you go to TCP. What is World Wide Web? WWW. World Wide Web is a repository of information spread all over the world and linked together. It is a unique combination of flexibility, portability, and user-friendly features. So this WWW today is a distributed client server service in which a client using a browser can access a service using a server. So the server or service provided is distributed over many locations called the websites. What is HTTP? Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. This is the main protocol used to access data on the WWW, World Wide Web. The protocol transfers data in the form of a plain text, hypertext, audio, video, and so on. So it has a proper format. It is so because its efficiency allows it to use in hypertext environment where there are rapid jumps from one document to another. So there are links, there are navigation, all this is controlled by your hypertext transfer protocol. What do we mean by SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol? In a TCP/IP protocol that supports electronic mail on the internet, this is called as Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So TCP/IP protocol that supports electronic mail on the internet is called SMTP. So SMTP provides for mail exchange between users on the same or different computers and supports sending a single message to one or more recipients. And sending message that includes through text, voice or graphics. And sending messages to users on a network outside the internet. This is also possible. What do you mean by local login and remote login? When a user logs into a local time sharing machine, it is called a local login. When a user wants to access an application program or utility located in remote machine, he or she performs a remote login. So who provides the job or who provides the background? This is Telnet. What is a network virtual terminal? A universal interface provided by Telnet is called a network virtual terminal, NVT. So this is a universal interface provided by Telnet. And this is, we have character set also. So let me define it again. A universal interface provided by this Telnet is called network virtual terminal character set, right? So there is a character set. So via this interface, Telnet translates characters, which is maybe data or command that come from local terminal into NVT form, and it delivers them onto the network. So these were a few questions on your networking. Thank you so much. Take care.